this is a little bit of a different week coming off a Thursday game. So we got a little bit of a head start on the next opponent. Alabama A&M, glad to be back home and have our final 2 regular season games at home. I think that's always a plus, and looking forward to trying to get back out there on Saturday and correct some of the things we didn't do as well on Thursday night. So, having said that, fire away.
Paul, you look at A&M's defense, they're ranked 19th in their division. What do you see from their defense?
Well, I think that they're physical. When you talk to the coaches in that league, we've talked to a couple of them, our assistants have, and they said that their front seven's the most physical of anybody in that conference. And, I think back about the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and they've had some really good players. I mean, they've put a lot of guys in the NFL and had good individual players, and I'm sure Alabama A&M will have some guys as well. They're very multiple defensively. They do a lot of things, play a lot of defenses. So, it'll be a good test for us.
You mentioned wanting to clean up some different things from Thursday. Can you give me a list of what's at the top?
Yeah, like playing the deep ball, that'd be 1. Our kicking game would be 2. Catching a kick would be 3. Cutting off pursuit on the inside would be 4. Blocking the perimeter would be 5. Running the right routes would be 6. That's probably about all the time we'd have time for.
Well, special teams in the Clemson game, it looked like they were trying to kick away from Smelter and kick it to the other back there. Is there any plans to make some changes as far as kickoff returns goes?
Well, hopefully we'll catch them. The one thing that I know about the kicking game, or one of the big things, is you never let the ball hit the ground. And we talk about that a lot because the thing's not round. It doesn't bounce straight up, and you've got to get yourself in a position to catch the ball. Now, we've got to help them. I mean, we had the guy 2 or 3 yards deep in the end zone off where the guy had kicked all year, and when they line drives, knuckleballed them short, our guys didn't judge the ball very well and come up and catch it. They let it hit the ground, and when that happens, they didn't get it secured a couple of times. But I think you're always looking, anytime you struggle in an area, you're always looking at ways to try to fix it. But because of injury, because of whatever, I mean, we've had, this is, game 10, game 11. We're not going to magically find somebody else to put back there. We just got to do a better job coaching the guys that are back there.
Yesterday, I'll read it to you. To be 10 weeks in the season and still work on some of the things we're working on is probably not where you'd like to be. And I know this is a tough question to answer, but can you put your finger on why those are some issues? Is it injuries, as you said, or is something else that's keeping this team from?
Well, I think it's all the above. I don't think that's all that unusual. I think if you probably ask a lot of coaches, they'd tell you the same thing, if they're honest. I mean, you're constantly working, trying to improve on what you do. I mean, what are there 4 or 5 undefeated teams that could say, well, we don't really have anything to work on? I think everybody's trying to work and get better and on what they do. And what I was talking about is fundamentally some stuff, just getting back to basics. This is a good week to do that. And I'll give you an example, is like I said, lining up on the line of scrimmage on the punt. We got 7 guys up on the line. We do it 2 times, the 3rd time we don't do it. Just things like that. It's concentration level and working to make sure that we're dialed in on those type of issues.
Pushing throughout the year for some time, maybe get a chance to look at that. Are there some guys like that you'll be looking forward to Saturday, maybe earning some more playing time?
Well, our big thing is to win the game Saturday and get win number 7. That's the push. And depending on how the game unfolds and what happens, we'd love to play everybody that could play if we can do that. But I don't think we're going in with that mindset, because when you do, that's when you get in trouble. And, I know I don't have that mindset, and I hope our guys don't. I've challenged our players this week. This is as much about Georgia Tech as it is about who we're playing. let's focus and dial in and try to make sure that we play up to our capabilities. Let's play up to our level, and then see what happens. And that's really what you want to do every game. You want to play as good as you can play, and then the score will, let the score be what it is.
After you guys beat Duke this year, could you have predicted that they go on the run to be playing the way they have?
Probably not. But I'm not a very good predictor. So you can't ever compare teams, I don't think. It's different. Every week's different, and different teams match up differently. And that's why some teams have a lot of success against certain teams, and other teams, you don't. It's just a lot of it's matchups, and that's why I say you can't. It's hard to do that. If you could do that, people would make a lot of money doing it. And there's still a lot of football left for those guys. I mean, there's still teams in our league got 2 league games left, so things not over yet.
Could you give a rundown on the guys that are redshirting and some of the guys that are rehabbing that you'll see back in the spring?
Well, most of the freshman class is redshirting. I mean, they're right now, this late in the year, they're all playing on the scout team. Jamal Golden is rehabbing. Anthony Autry's still rehabbing. They should be Isaiah Johnson. Actually, Isaiah practices every day. So all 3 of those guys should be back full speed next year, and we'll have I think 3 or 4 guys come in mid-semester, and they should be available for spring, and all the freshmen that we redshirted.
How's Freddie doing?
Freddie's doing great. He's way ahead of. I don't know if he'll be spring, but he's way ahead of where we projected him. So he's doing great too. I forgot about Freddie. We've had so many offensive linemen. I can't get hurt. I can't keep up with them.
Are there a couple of guys that are redshirting this year that have really stood out to you or made some impression on you?
Well, I think that all those guys do well on the scout team, and when they're running off cards, the transition is how they're going to do when they get in the system and do some of that. But we've traveled with a lot of freshmen. They've traveled just for emergency. Corey Griffin at safety's been on about every trip. Shamir Devine's made every trip, I think, since about the second one, because they were the 3rd guy at that position or whatever, and if we'd have lost one, they'd had to play. So we've got the 2 receivers that we redshirted. Well, like I said, everybody in that class pretty much except PJ.
Paul, you got Bino back for a couple of reps against Clemson. How important is it to have him out there to start the game with the rest of the offense?
Well, it'll be good to get Ray back. He was a little rusty, as you would imagine, because he'd been out for 3 weeks, and he's trying to feel his way through the injury. But you get a guy back that's played a lot of games and started a lot of games. That's always a plus, and especially up there on the offensive line, especially considering it looks like that we've probably lost Chase for a bit. I don't see any way he could play this week, and hopefully we've got a chance to get him back for the Georgia game. But right now, there's no way he's going to play this week for sure.
Mentioning the Georgia game, it's 12 days away. What do you think your team needs to improve on? Going forward in practice and playing at Alabama A&M.
Well, I think that what we need to improve on are things that we can control ourselves. Like I said, the self-inflicted wounds, we need to do away with those. That'd be a great place to start. We did an okay job in the Clemson game with not turning the ball over. We had the 1 fumble, but that's always key. One thing we've got to do a better job of is getting turnovers. We just haven't gotten many. And if you look, the last probably four games, I think we've gotten about 1 a game, and it's a couple of them have been right at the end of the game on the last possession or whatever, and that's an area that we talk about a lot, and Coach Roof and the defensive staff work on every day. But we just haven't gotten very many turnovers, and that's key. For us to win our last 2 games, we need to be better in special teams, and we need to do better in that area. You know, we'll need to get some turnovers. Oh, I don't have any idea what the players are. I mean, we've talked about it. We practice. We're getting ready for Alabama A&M. I hope that they're focused on their performance. That's what we've talked about, on their performance this week, not on who we're playing. On when they turn the tape on Monday, what do they want to see when they look up there and see themselves playing? Some accountability that way.